I'm explaining a film from 2020 titled The Hunt. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. A stewardess comes up to a man and asks him if he's interested in eating. He rejects when she notes that they have caviar and continues to list dishes that can only be made in a kitchen. She goes to fetch it, and when she comes back to start pouring it, a guy suddenly wanders inside, frightening her and the others. The champagne guy adds that one of them is awake, and an older man rushes up and tries to calm the stumbling man by telling him he is a doctor. He forces him to lie down on the towels, where he stabs him, shocking everyone. The man continues hurling bottles since he knows the other person is still alive before Athena appears and stabs him with her shoe. As she washes her shoe, she says that there is no feeling in war. The elder man who came before him carries the stumbler into a separate area of the plane. He calls for help even though he is still alive, but regrettably the blonde woman he calls is unconscious. Later, the same woman wakes up outside with a gag in her mouth that she can't get out. She observes a second woman crossing a river while wearing a gag that is acting as a makeshift compass. As she stands up, she offers the first lady a little nod of recognition before disappearing just as a man walks by behind her. He takes her to a field with a large box in the middle. A couple more people can be seen making their way to the box. One of them tells him it's a trap, but the man opens it anyhow. Others hide themselves. When he opens the container, a pig escapes, and he looks inside before pulling out a rack of guns. The preceding blonde joins the rest of the field in making their way to the container. She releases one of the people who is trapped by the shackles. Nobody is conscious of what is happening. When someone starts firing at them out of nowhere, they all run for cover. The blonde seemed to have avoided being shot before being shot unexpectedly. At the previous shooting site, one of the players on the field makes an effort to fire but is also fatally wounded. A lady is seen rushing out and collapsing in a ditch by one of the guys. He runs to aid her but discovers that she has been impaled but is still alive. He lifts her up and unintentionally steps on a landmine as they run away. A second person is able to escape the shooting. He almost shoots the person who approaches. They are approached by two additional persons. They all scale the barrier except from the guy with the container. He chooses to confront his attackers after being speared and is killed moments later. The other three are able to flee and arrive at a petrol station. The business's owners think the visitors are burglars. The man in the blue blouse says he doesn't want their money, he only wants to know where he is. He is informed that he is in Arkansas. They say that they will follow the call and arrive soon when he requests for a phone to call the police. The woman bites into a cookie and immediately suffocates on it, as if it were poisoned. The two instantly put on gas masks and throw a smoke grenade their way. Before he can fire them, the guy shoots the blue shirt. The man shoots the blue shirt before he can shoot them. They use the grenade to attack the other person before killing him as well. She opens the ventilation in the petrol station. Later, they try to remove the dead and clean up the mess. The lady is furious when she sees the wedding band on the blue shirt. The two are still debating the specifics of racism when they hear a call on the radio. They let the woman on the other end know which hunted they were able to kill, and she lets them know that another hunted is approaching them. She enters the gas station as it is being readied and finds everyone inside cheerful and ready for her. When she asks for a box of cigarettes and receives some cash for an emergency, Crystal then asks as to her location. The woman answers to Crystal as she hands her her change, but Crystal notices something is odd and strikes them. She gets the shotgun out from behind the bar and murders the husband before murdering the wife. After looking around the petrol station for the dead, Crystal takes some bullets and elastic bands. She puts her jacket down and leaves the station. She moves on to look at the truck in front of her. She initially realizes that the plates are fake and that Croatian ones are actually below. She snatches the radio and hides in the woods, listening to what the others are saying. The drone that was deployed to check the station is shot down by someone. Before he can reach the vehicle, Crystal stops the guy who shot the drone and tells him that it is rigged as he continues to crush it. She then tells him that by firing the drone, he successfully told them that they were at the petrol station, and she begins to walk towards some railroad lines she had previously observed. He reportedly knew about a group of liberal elites that kidnap victims and transport them to a mansion so that they can be found. He doesn't truly have Crystal's support, though. She hears the incoming train and tells the man to sprint so they can catch up to it. They find an immigrant gang lurking inside the train as they get on it. The man asserts that they are crisis actors and not actual people. They also don't speak English. Crystal is still not persuaded by his arguments. The train quickly comes to a stop, and the military police start checking the cabins. The man, Crystal, and the immigrants all give up. As the police are frisking them, the man decides to inform one of the policemen that he and the other person are Americans and that the migrants are only crisis actors. The cops, who cannot communicate in English, move aside as one of the immigrants speaks to the man in flawless English with an American accent. When he says they don't trust him, the man flips out. The immigrant claims that since he is the sole actor, he must settle down. The person assaults him and tucks a grenade in his trousers as everyone else rushes for shelter. The man snaps. After that, a truck is used to transport Crystal to a refugee facility. There, a detective brings her in and asks for her identification. When she asks them where she is and they don't answer, she starts to ponder and soon realizes that she is in Croatia. She asks for the number of the American consulate. Dawn, another victim of the hunt, is instead invited to the celebration. As the two of them make their way to the camp kitchen for dinner, Dawn continues to talk about the same concepts with her as he did with the other guy. Unexpectedly, an American embassy representative shows there to pick them up. Later, they may be seen riding with him into the woodland. The official is surprised after hearing all Dawn has informed him regarding their circumstance. To find the people who hunted them, he promises to get in touch with the military and the State Department. Crystal knocks the man down and pushes him out of the car after noticing his odd behavior. Then she murders him. A pistol is found in his jacket, she says. As she digs through the trunk, Dawn freaks out that she killed the official after discovering the body of the other man she was with earlier. After she finds a map, Dawn says he thinks they are the last two left. Dawn asks her to get in the car, but she declines. She wants to find the people pursuing her and exact retribution using the chart. Inside the bunker, the gang of hunters is debating what is and isn't politically correct. They have a military advisor among them. Even if he asks them to keep quiet, they only mock him. They can hear Athena's voice commanding them to cease chatting over the radio. One of them goes outside to use the restroom, but Dawn diverts his attention with the pig, and Crystal shoots him dead as soon as he reaches a tree. Outside their bunker, the group can hear sounds. The soldiers' instructions are scarcely followed by them. When Dawn lowers the pig inside, everyone reacts in terror by opening fire. The lady is enraged because they murdered the pig when suddenly Crystal shoots one of the men and starts firing on the others. She contends for a firearm with another man. After discovering another round in the chamber, she discharges him. When the soldier suddenly tackles her and they begin to fight, she thinks she has them all under control. When Crystal whips him with a pipe she pulled from the ceiling, he survives. Crystal prepares to shoot the woman before Dawn gets there. He finds a pistol, and Crystal tells him to ask the woman why they were torturing them. After the woman gives a dumb response, Dawn steps in to stop Crystal from murdering her, saying that the woman should be saved since she is a woman. Crystal shoots the woman when she responds that she shouldn't get compassion only because she is a woman. As Dawn starts to freak out, Athena asks him on the radio whether he has Crystal and then aims her rifle at him. He responds by saying he is not one of them. She instructs Dawn to murder Crystal despite Dawn's pleas for her not to trust the woman on the radio. Athena is told by Crystal that Dawn is dead and to come fetch her. Crystal sits down next to the soldier and strikes up a casual chat before asking him where Athena is. She makes a pledge to keep trying, and he pushes his wound before telling her where she is hiding. He informs her of the details but warns her that she spent months getting ready for the search. Crystal also ends his life. Back in the past, two co-workers are waiting for Athena at her old office from a year ago. They talk about the text she sent about the search. They tell her that even though she says it was only a joke, some people truly believe it to be true. The goddess laughs. But he is adamant that she leave her position since it would produce a PR disaster. She asks for a list of those responsible for spreading the rumor that she hunts people. 8 months before the search, during the group's process of choosing the hunters, there is another flashback. They struggle to make a choice, but Athena tells them to move forward. As the man reading the slides reads Crystal's comments on Athena, an image of her appears on the slide. When she gets angry, she turns into her greatest enemy. Crystal is already making her way toward a home. If she doesn't leave her pistol there, Athena threatens to switch on the C4 under the gate over the intercom. Then Crystal comes in with the gun still in hand. Beethoven is playing in the background as Crystal warily enters the house and notices the pictures of herself and the others on Athena's wall. Athena is cooking as she waits for her in the kitchen. She wonders if she killed Don, but she won't say whether he was one of them. Athena doesn't seem to know who Crystal is, but Crystal doesn't seem to know who Athena is. Crystal makes fun of her for starting the search for the wrong reasons when she explains why she did it, bringing the conversation full circle and proving the conspiracy hypothesis. Furthermore, she is using the wrong Crystal. The awful Athena conspiracy claims were posted online by another Crystal with the same last name as her. When all is revealed, Crystal grabs a knife and goes after Athena. They engage in ferocious fight and have comparable strength and stamina. Crystal bombards Athena with everything she can find, even a pricey bottle of champagne that Athena tries to save from breaking. After kicking the woman over the fireplace, Athena gets a shotgun and follows her up the stairs. As they battle for the pistol, Crystal knocks her down the stairs and dives down. Athena then stabs Crystal with a knife. They return to the kitchen after a brief exchange of blows outside, where Crystal stabs Athena with a vegetable cutter. Crystal lures Athena in and stabs her with the opposite side of the cutter while she attempts to kick her away. Athena passes away, but Crystal lives. She rises, consumes the toast and uses a blowtorch to cauterize the wound. She grooms herself, dons one of Athena's gowns, and slips on some of her shoes. She drinks the pricey champagne before heading out. She sees Athena's private jet as soon as she goes outside. As soon as she gets on board, she accuses the stewardess and the captain of being her murderers and asks that they take her home while brandishing a gun. While she settles in, the stewardess prepares a snack and some champagne. She can eat and drink with Crystal at any time. That is how it ends. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments section. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay updated on future videos. Leave a like to support the channel.